RPCS. Hi again. Guys, can you write something in chat? I don't see messages. I'm not sure it works at all. Hello again. Jixer, Banana. The magic book of Botvinnik, yeah. I decided to show you Botvinnik book first of all because when I look at these electronic books, my eyes get very tired very quickly. Short question. A low rating must have started to gain in importance well after you become a strong master. Did it have a negative impact on the players? What do you think? I was never uh, count my rating or others' ratings. I would just enjoy play chess and rise my quality of the game, and then rating, of course, will come when your quality of chess is rising. Sometimes your rating may be uh, not so high, but your understanding and quality of chess are improving. Ratings are not show the sometimes not show the real power of the players. So I wanted to show you some Botwini games, and first game what I want to show you, it was between Reshevsky with white against Botvinnik. It was played in match between USSR team and USA in Moscow 1946. And Botvinnik's writes few. So Lich's logo is blocking your camera view. What do you mean? Lich's logo. I don't have any Lich's logo. Ah, these leeches. How it came here? Maybe like this is better. Thank you to tell me. I even did not realize that it was there. I just didn't realize that. Botvinnik says few words about Samuel Reshevsky. He, he was born in the same year like Botvinnik in 1911, and when he was 6 years old, he already give he give simultaneous to lot of players, and even once his opponent was future world champion Max Ave, and professor by the way, and president of FIDE. Nobody was doubt about huge talent of Wonderkind. Rishevsky was a very creative player and very good in tactics. He was calculating variations very quick, very well. But he had a very nice positional understanding and was very strong practical player. But he had one very huge defect that he always was followed by strong side notes, which not allowed to show even better results of what he was showing. So this game is very interesting. Botvinnik is black, and they started with French defense. Knight c3. We know that Botvinnik's main weapon was French defense. Yeah, when you are a kid, you look at this stuff like reading from another side. But I'm talking about mature people, of course. So e5, the main line, c5, a3, bishop a5. Also bishop c3, we saw in previous streams that Botvinnik's main move was bishop c3. For example, 2 games against Smyslov he played. But this time he used bishop a5. He did not want to check Reshevsky on his preparation after bishop c3. And here Reshevsky was thinking long and he finds an interesting plan. Good plan. Daddy cool. Good evening. Hello man. Nice to see you. Banana sieve. How do you get inside that when your strength is calculation? Yeah, it's a good question. But for example, nowadays we know such a player like Alexander Grishuk. Yeah, he's very good in tactical skills, in calculation skills. He was even world champion in blitz, but he has this problem also with Zeitnot. The point that many players they need much time uh, to decide something because they have too much doubts during the game. In classical chess, they have too much doubts and they cannot make a decision. Where they're always doubt about that what they're doing. They calculate their decisions, and such a players usually play extremely well fast controls like Grishuk shows. Also, my old friend Izoria Zviat from Georgia, for example, now he's in USA. He was also the same problem he had. He was always doubt, always was in tight notes in classical games, but he was playing very well blitz and rapid. Still, he's well, there is such a players because in blitz and fast control you don't have time for doubts. So and by your natural skills you show it. So yeah, side note means time trouble. It's a German word. So time travel is for American or English people, and for example, for Russian, we use Russian people use Zeitnot because it comes from German. Zeit in German means time. So Zeitnot means like no time probably. And now he played Queen G4 here. More popular was B4 in this line. It was recommended by Alokhin even a long time ago, like 1920s. So Queen G4 in this game, played by uh, Reshevsky. Knight e7 is a very popular line when black sacrifices 2 pawns, g7 h7, and seek counterplay on the queen side. Uh, Samuel took DC first. Botvinnik uh, immediately destroys the pawn structure because the aim was to play b4 here. So he check it and plays knight d7 here. Very interesting move. And now queen g7 played Reshevsky, and Botvinnik says this was inaccuracy in here. Was simple and good move, knight f3. Develop the piece, protect e5 square, not to be in rush for material. It was better develop. And it was promising good play for white. But he says that after knight g6, h4, h5, queen g3, knight c5 is not clear position according to encyclopedia of openings for that time when this book was written, like 1980s, 85, 86. Now white in the game they eliminate g7 pawn and h7, but they lose this central pawn, and initiative goes to the black side. Also, these all pawns are weak. Yeah, it was slow game, yeah, but little bit difference here, of course. Rook g8 by Botvinnik, queen g7, knight e5. So without queens, white would have advantage, of course, because of his strong pawn and also pair of bishops. But with queen, it's strong initiative for black. So bishop e2 he played. White is used that rook g2 not possible do of check and grab this knight. They finishing the um, development. Thank you very much. Tick 23. Really appreciate for your behavior today. Enjoy, man. Like I'm enjoying this book and Botvinnik annotations. So he played queen e5, attacking this pawn and this pawn. And same time he wants in future maybe even make long castle. So very nice move. Bishop d2 is forced to protect, and he takes queen c5. So now white has extra pawn up, but a little bit behind the development. Also, these pawns are ruined. And also for white king monarch, it's very hard to find a safe place. So knight f3 logical continuation. White has to finish development. Also eliminating these strong knights. So Botvinnik take, bishop e3, and e5 logical continuation with either bishop e5 then long castle, or even some moment e4 and then take here. Depends what white will do. Yeah, so Botvinnik says that he want to play bishop e5 and long castle and finish the mobilization of his forces. Bishop h5 by Reshevsky. So Reshevsky's hope was to that Botvinnik would play this, and he wanted to chain his pieces to this f7 pawn, and then maybe make castle and develop. But in this position, Botvinnik bravely sacrificed this pawn. He plays bishop a5, strong move. Initiative on the first side, not material. Initiative and time. He says that this kind of move you don't play in every game. There is no doubt that this was surprise for Reshevsky. So now it's they exchanged this pawn to this pawn, and all pawns became so weak. And also king impossible to hide king anywhere. Yeah, beautiful idea. So bishop f7. We see that we know like Botvinnik as a positional fundamental player, but we see with such a games, yes, like this current game, he was very sharp. Also tactical skills, very concrete player, and also his Botvinnik system, yes, shows that he was very well skilled by dynamical understanding too. Botvinnik says that queen f7 most probably was not better even because king g7. Now rook a8 is a threat and catch the queen. So queen f6 would be continuation, and rook g2 attacking here. So he said this was not better than what happened in the game. Uh, After bishop f5, Reshevsky took with bishop. king d7. So this is attacked. And he played queen e6. Uh, he says, Botvinnik says that during the game he did not notice that he could try to win this bishop here, uh, which stacked on in black's camp. So rook h8 he could play. He played rook g2 here. Rook h8, queen f6 here. In case of queen g5, there was rook h7 attacking here, and after bishop h5, there is rook g8, and all suddenly white is loses here. Yes, this bishop is pinned. After queen h4, maybe even rook g4. No, rook g4 is queen g4. 1 second. What was his idea? His top variation on rook g8. So how he win this bishop? Let me think. Rook g4 is not convincing me because queen g4, white has a lot of materials and castle and even maybe better. So I don't understand what was Botvinnik idea after that. Because rook gh8, he will play g4. Hmm. Look at this out. Look, his top variation, but I think the idea was rook gh8. Now queen e4 is loses because of b5 and this is protected. So g4 is only move, and I think queen c4 beautiful move. Look at this move, guys. I love it. The idea that I'm pinning this queen. If you make castle, I simply take rook h5 and using this pin. And if you play uh, queen g3, then I have this check and grab this rook. Oof. Why I did not see these ideas during the Blitz tournament? What the fuck? I mean, everything always wrong for me. Yeah, this was beautiful line. Uh, so after rook h8, probably Reshevsky should play queen f6, and then queen c6 move here. Look at this move. Uh, rook a f8 also very interesting for me. And then rook h7 and check. Yeah, yeah. So he mean in this position, queen c6, attacking the queen, queen e5. In case of queen 6 bc, probably this bishop is just stuck here. He cannot do anything against this move. Yeah, that was cool pin. So after queen c6, most probably, yeah, after this line, queen c bc f3, rook f8, black has big advantage because g4 is only move. We will take here, and look at these ruined pawns, and rook h3 is coming. There's a big advantage, but that's why queen e5 he's thinking. But after queen e5, rook h7, and this bishop is caught here. Yeah, he missed these ideas, and he played a more natural move, rook g2, continuing his plan. So king is very unsafe now. We don't have any shelter to go. Rook hf1 plays Reshevsky, and queen b6 is playing. And Botvinnik says this was a positional mistake in this position. Um, and after that, white equalizes the game because his pawn structure will become weak. He didn't find during the game strong idea queen c4 here, and idea is queen e4 check or bishop g4. So after rook b1 attacking here, and to have rook b4 for example, he would give check, and after queen e3, it would be b6 move. Same idea to go to endgame, but his pawn structures are solid, and undoubtedly black has advantage in this position, he says. Yeah, controls of center. Also, bishop is stacked. All pawns are weak. First of all, this is the main. So position is a better. But he found good idea to exchange the queens, but the wrong way. So queen b6, and now his pawns are weak here. His pawn became weak. And long castle, strong move by Reshevsky. Good move, he said. He connecting the rooks first of all. Rook a3. Both you see, both players are not don't care about materials. They care about development and initiative. King b2 and rook a4, controlling this important rank. Avoid h4 and bishop g4 setup. I'm thinking why Reshevsky did not play here h4. Could be interesting because in case of rook h1, king b2, rook d1, rook d1, rook f2, Maybe this is why. That's why he didn't play. Because bishop g5 leads to rook c2 check. If we push, there will be bishop g4 unpleasant move. Yeah, probably that's why he played king b2 here. I understand now. But unfortunately, after king b2, rook a4, you don't have h4. Uh, Thank you for following. Uh, and he played bishop e3. Reshevsky connects bishop to pawn, protects it, also attacking this weak pawn here. Bishop e6 was played. Thank you guys for following. So it's very nice to eliminate this strong bishop, and then light squares became weak. Also pawn here will be weak in future. So he take bishop e6. After bishop h5, probably he did not want to allow rook h2 with tempo. Yeah, yeah, very interesting game. So he took bishop e6, king e6, and take this pawn. So far, white has 4 pawns and black has three. So pawn up for Reshevsky, but after rook h2, he regained the equality of pawns and positioning his bet again because look at these ruined pawns. And after that, rook g1 was played by white. So he's trying to activate the pieces until he will be squeezed completely. So it is the only chance in such positions. Yeah, now Botvinnik says that black would have good chances to win if they would trade one pair of rooks to reduce the chances for white. Oh, John Twitch, hello man, I'm doing perfect. How are you? Nice to see you again. I like you have these letters in pinky color, so I see it very well here because I'm using the separate program. It calls Ship Chat. I'm not reading it from the my channel chat, and sometimes some names I don't see, especially when they're like light blue. It doesn't. The best colors are light. No, I mean when there's dark blue, I don't see, but light blue, like RPGs for me, I see perfect. John Twitch, I see you perfect. Your name too, Quadraspas, and these guys. For example, I don't see well TIG 23 because it's a little bit red one. I need to get closer to. TIG 23, bravo. He gifted viewers. For example, which I will tell you which name I don't see well. Okay, so far there is no anybody that I don't see. So the best color are pink and blue, light blue. Vino, hello man. Sergey, thank you. Yes, thank you man. Yeah, everybody thanks to Tick. He's behaving very cool tonight. Nice from you man. As we understood, black wants to wish to trade one rooks, and white has to avoid and try to create chances with two rooks on the board. So rook h6 was played to control 6th rank and activate this knight to avoid checks. Uh, he played rook g7, pinning the knight, he thinks, but knight f5 anyway. He says that it was better not to sacrifice this pawn. Rook c4 was much better move. And in case of bishop h4, a5, without the bishop b4 attack knight and then take here, simply play b5 here. And take away this pawn from the 7th rank and then activate the knight, still have some chances for success. But he plays knight a5, practical decision, and rook b7. It looks risky, but white calculated very well everything. So knight d6, he was trying to give some checks and some threats. And now white winning very important temp with king b3 strong move. This probably Botvinnik missed here. Let me read um, Sergey post. James Blunder. Botvinnik was definitely one of the greatest players ever, and you are one One paid great tribute. I to his work. I'm sure he would be honored to see a creative player like you praising the. Yeah, thank you very much for this. And I was lucky that when I was kid, I met. I don't know. Maybe it was end of 80s. Like maybe it was 1989 or something like that. I guess 1988. I was very little kid, and my father bring when we've been in Moscow, he had connection with Mikhail Botvinnik, and then I met him. Incredible, and he even checked some of my games. That was so cool. So I knew him personally. Yeah, so I would have big respect to him from childhood. Yeah, that's I have this memory. I still remember him. When I met him, so he was born in 1911, so it means he was at least 77 or 76, 78, something like that. His age was. So King B3 was played, and Rook A8 played. It was possible also to play knight B7 after King A4, just go back on D6. But Botvinnik tries to keep Rook to attack, pin this king. Thank you for following, guys. And Rook C7. We see that Reshevsky calculated very well everything after he played Rook B7. Sergey, James Blunder, that's an amazing story. Actually, Yuji Polgar said a couple of days ago on the Stavanger live stream that Botvinnik is legendary player. Uh, she would have over to meet. Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah. She's a little bit older than me, so she probably remember him better. So Rook C7 was played by Reshevsky. Rook B8 from first sight. It seems like White will gonna lose this bishop, but no. Rook C6. This was precisely calculated by Reshevsky. He sees that he defend and knight cannot go because of pin. And in case of King D7, what happened? Uh, he played check, and using that after King D8, he has discovered check here, a change here, and then after Rook D5, White is actually winning. But he go back, Rook 6, and he played Rook B7 with same idea, King D7 and no Rook C7 anymore. But White has important time now, and he plays C4. Um, but Winning says that instead Rook B7 was more wise just to repeat moves and accept the draw. But after C4, and now he played DC. He still continue by by inertia play for victory, and he opens the D file and became very risky. He should not open it. He should play d4, keep d file closed. And he says that black would not risk anything here. For example, after c5, then would be king d5 strong move, attack here. And in case of rook d6, he would just trade and check here and take, and it would be draw. And in case of, for example, rook. Ah, yes, this variation. Rook h1, he says, in this position. Incredible move. No, something, probably it was, no, rook h1 is written in this position, but it's incorrect. Of course, rook g1 he means. In case of rook g1, there was king d7, uh, rook c7, rook 7, rook g7, and after this, black was okay. He would give check and then activate knight, and he's okay. But he took dc, continue by inertia to play for win. And king b4 played by um, Reshevsky. And after king b4, king e7 played by Botvinnik. And he said this was really only move here, only solution. For example, king d7 was losing because of king uh, c5 here, protecting rook and at the same time attacking the knight, and white is winning. King a5 simply not possible, not because of rook c d6, because there is a rook b6 and this rook is protect this, but because of another rook takes here. And now we see that white is winning. So king e7 only move was, and he played. LP chess, why not king c3 planning bishop c5? Maybe because of after king c3 now he would have this king d7 then. And he lose this exchange here. You don't have king c5. And the rook, if rook goes, we will take this bishop. That's why he played king b4, forcing king e7 and king a5 here. Now he very interesting commentary. He said that after this move, Reshevsky forget to press the clock. Can you imagine? Uh, and Botvinnik says that they both been in very strong Zeitnot here, time trouble, and he asked, "What should I do?" He says that in tournament I would instantly tell opponents about his mistake, but this was a match. This was match game, so what to do in such a situation? He had no time to who discuss it with captain, and the situation in match was very tense. So he decided, uh, and he just decided to do nothing. So when Rishevsky noticed his mistake that he did not press the clock, and already his time, his in all time there was clocks, mechanical clocks. So his flag was like this, almost fall down, and he should play instantly now without any time. And we see what will happen. So king d7 played Botvinnik. Now few seconds has Reshevsky, and this was number 37th of move. So he should make 4 moves until the control. So this was the first move. Rook e6 was played. Um, King a6, rook b8, both been in big time troubles. Rook 7, king e8, and this was number 40 move now, and Reshevsky instantly played king a7 here. Uh, Botvinnik says that it was rook h1, very tempting move, and after rook a8 check, bishop a7 here. Rook a7, and in case of king a7, there will be fork on b5. And in case of rook a7, there is knight c8. And black has to reach the draw. And in the game, after king a7, white has to reach, uh, white has to work hard for make the draw. And rook d8, so both reached the control. This was number 40 for black. Uh, Now Reshevsky could think and find only move king a6 to make the draw. But Reshevsky did not know that he made control move, and that's why he played instantly here. He did not know that he made 40 moves because he did not write down the moves like we're doing now. And he played rook h1 instantly here. And after knight b5 check, the fork, king b7, knight c7, bishop c7. And what happened here, guys? What do you think? Now, Botvinnik found a very strong move with double exclamation mark, and game was adjourned. So he not only found the best move, but he also adjourned game and could have chance to analyze this position at home and win it at home with whole Soviet Union team. I was playing John Twitch in Title Tuesday, but very badly. So Yeah, everybody from American side and USSR side, they saw that he wrote down and put in the envelope move rook d2, which leads to draw. Yeah, Sergey, exactly. Rook d4, double exclamation mark. Very important not allow these pawns, one of the pawns, to reach to the fourth rank here. So rook d4, double exclamation mark. So not allow f4, not allow c4. This was he wrote down, and position is winning. First of all, there is a threat of rook b4 and then rook c4. c3 played by Reshevsky. Yeah, and for example, rook d2 here it leads to draw after f4 move. This move was very unpleasant. For example, after e4, most probably f5 is coming. Yeah, f5, and then in case of rook f6, there is rook e1 attacking this, and white has strong counterplay. Maybe even bishop e5 is possible, cutting this rook from the pawn. The next move is rook e1. Okay, this is not sure because he will take rook e1, rook c4, and king is cut, and this will come here. So probably f5 would be here. f5 was a good move. And for black is extremely hard to win if it's win at all. Botvinnik thought that was draw already. That's why he played rook d4. Very strong move. c3 by Reshevsky, protecting this square, and rook c4. So king is cutted from his pawns, and this is the main thing why black is winning here. So bishop a5 was played by Reshevsky, protecting this important pawn. King d7. Now, when white bishop goes to e5, there is no anymore attacking on e5. It's not possible to play rook h7 because rook e7 black has, and after rook e7, king e7, black is winning. This will king will play here, then e4 or rook f4, then e4, king c4, and one pawn will fall down. Then this king will go here and sacrifice rook here. So this endgame is winning. Uh, that's why Samuel played rook h8 with idea check. Rook f6 he played. Tricky maneuver, Botvinnik said. Uh, he found it in home analyze. Can you imagine? He predicted this position. He opened these stairs for king, and after check, king d e7. I'm sure that Reshevsky was playing during the game. He didn't analyze this line. Rook d2 and rook d6 strong move. Uh, it's another unpleasant move because bishop b4 not possible. Duo of rook b4 check, and then we take this rook. And exchange of rooks also leads to immediate loss. So rook a2 he played. For example, if Reshevsky would play rook e2, there was rook d5, very unpleasant move. And in case of bishop b4, king d7, and black is built up here as a mating net. For example, here is a threat. Let's say white waiting, then we can give check, and after king a6, a very unpleasant position after king 6, and then maybe this rook will come from this side and give mate. So that's why in this position he played rook. Uh, After rook d6, he played rook a2 here. Try to protect this bishop. King d7 was played. Rook b2, nothing to do for white, they need to wait. Rook c5 attacking the bishop. In case of bishop b4, there is a rook b5 check. And bishop c6 was played. And now, white is confirming that position is hopeless. But he says that stronger was bishop before, but it was very hard to decide to play it because after rook c7 it seems like mates coming from all sides. So bishop b6 on the move, and then Rook c3, he lost the pawn. Brazuca, hello man. Yes, it was very hard to analyze, of course. Rook b4, played by Shevsky. King e6. Rook b2, rook d3. Now, Black's idea to exchange the rooks and then win this pawn. Rook a2 by Reshevsky, rook d7 check. King a6, rook b3. With the idea rook d6. And after bishop e3, Mehdi, hello man. How are you? We see that there is very cloudy around white monarch. So rook d6, sorry, rook d6 check made by Botvinnik. King a5, rook d8 with idea rook a8. And after king a6, he take here, give check, and Reshevsky finally resigned. Yes, this was a very interesting game. Unfortunately, mm, Reshevsky spoiled because of he forgot to press the clock. Okay, next game, also very positional masterpiece by Botvinnik. He was white against. It was played in Moscow, 1947. In probably I don't know what was that. Maybe open tournament against Kotnauer. He played. So I will 1 second. We'll change the title. So it was Botvinnik was white. I don't have any idea how to write his opponent name in English. Maybe you will help me, guys. I will try. Kotnauer, how it can be? Kotnauer. Maybe something like this. Kotnauer. Maybe like this. Or maybe like this. Nauer. No idea, guys. Really? Sorry, my English is not good, so I cannot write it. So let's see what happened in this game. D4 played um, by Botvinnik. No, sorry, not in this game. Knight f3 he started. What I'm talking about. Knight f3 he played. No, I'm sure I did not write it correctly. Kotnauer. No, I don't believe. Really? I did it right, Kotnauer? No way. No way I could write it correctly with my poor English. Really? Wow. I write it down by intuition. I don't know. So d5 played Kotnauer. Crazy. If I could, if I could guess in my games to put my pieces like this, then I would become maybe much better player. Incredible. Okay, so d4, knight f6, c4, c6, and this is Slavian defense. CD, take by Botvinnik. The exchange variation of Slavian defense, very tricky one, by the way. His Botvinnik said in that time, this was very unpleasant setup for who liked to play Slav with black. Because after knight c3, knight c6, like was in game, bishop c4, bishop a5, this symmetry leads to a very unpleasant position sometimes after e3 and bishop b5 here. In this current game, Kotnauer plays e6. So this move is very passive to avoid these main lines after e3, bishop b5 or a6. It's obviously we see the minus of this move because we close our own bishop and giving control of black squares for white. But at the same time, it's black's position doesn't have weaknesses. Uh, Botvinnik said this was a favorite continuation of Emmanuel Lasker and also Smyslov loved to play like that. I remember in some games, Latek, Smyslov, for example, let's play random moves. He liked to play this plan. Castle, then he was doing bishop d7, then this queen was going here, this rook was going here, and then he would go back with queen on d8. This was his lovely setup and very harmony in black's position. Nadal. E6, E3, of course, logical. Bishop D6 played by Kuntauer. Botvinnik says this is old and not bad idea. From the general principes, it's not good for black to exchange these black square bishops because pawns are on white and bishop is passive here. But here is a fight for center, and in case of bishop d6, queen d6, and they would have control over this important e5 square. That's why he not going to exchange himself and waiting. Also, black is also waiting, not changing on f4 and postponing for better times. Lasker was playing bishop e7 this system, but it also has his own minuses. Botvinnik implemented in tournament practice knight h5 move here. He played it in training game versus Petrosyan in 1952. So 1952, he was 41 years old. And also he played in Olympiads, two games like that. But in all three games, White didn't play the best move, bishop e5 strong move here. After knight h5, yeah, I like to play something like that. G3 is this kind of fight. It's very interesting line, yeah. In case of you take gf, yeah, very interesting. I played this even with reverse color, even in classical games with black. Imagine with tempo down, and still was possible. Yes, very interesting move g3. So e3, bishop d6, bishop d3 played by uh, Botvinnik. Also was considered interesting bishop g3 first. Yeah. So bishop d3 he played. Castle was played by castle, castle, and b6 strong move by Kutnar. Tactical operation knight d4 would be mistake here because of knight d4, of course not ed because of bishop f4, not bishop d6 because of check. So after knight d4, knight d4 was strong, and after e5, bishop g5 with a pin, and after ed, and white would have solid advantage here, due of better development and control here. Also, queen can come on f3. So after that, he played b6. That's why b6 here. Rook ac1, logical move by Botvinnik. Put rook on the open line. Bishop b7. He played a3. Try to control this square. Rook ac8. Probably he played a3 because he wanted to play queen e2. And if he would do it here, maybe he would deal with this move, attacking bishop, and it has to go here because after bishop e1 there is bishop a6 attacking rook. That's why he played this a3 move, and after rook c8 he played queen e2. Bishop f4 take by black. Botvinnik said maybe instead of queen e2 he should go bishop g5 here in this position to avoid this exchange, because now when black is ready developed, they found good moment to change. Yeah, 95 is also some way possible, but black would probably not rigged about that move. He will play rook c8, knight e7, uh, with knight e7 idea, and knight g6 and control king side, I guess. So he played queen e2 and bishop f4. Yeah, bishop g5 he think was interesting. Knight e5 also was interesting move, yeah. ef and knight f5. Very interesting idea. The point that if white will play logically knight e5 moves, then will be knight b3, very unpleasant fork here. And after um, rook cd1, knight d4, uh, bishop h7, knight h7, rook d4, queen f6. White black would have more or less normal game here. From first side, white is better, but probably they will double rooks here now. Then this knight can go like this, so black is okay. Potentially this bishop can become strong force. So that's why Botvinnik here played rook c2 to avoid these kind of things. Knight c4. Now again knight e5 not possible because of knight b2. And in case of rook b2 there is knight under attack here. So he played rook fc1 here, protecting again knight and preparing knight e5 move. a6 played by Kontnauer. So far he's playing very well because of knight e5 he wants to play b5 definitely, then put queen b6, attack this pawn. Knight b1 played by Botvinnik. He defend this pawn and preparing b3 here. b5 by Kontnauer. And Botvinnik said that the retreat on this knight, black should use with queen d6 move, attacking this pawn first of all, and also aiming this pawn. So b3 not possible because of knight h3 here. And for example, after knight e5, then b5. And it's not possible to disturb this knight anymore because b3 knight h3, and instead of in case of knight d2 there is a knight b2 idea, and there is a pin. So after this, perfect position for white, for black. But he played immediately b5. Now we see that these squares are weak, bishop is dead. So theoretically, if we kick out this knight from here and transfer one knight here and another will put here, it will be big advantage for white. We have to remember such what is difference between squares, because when we place any piece on this kind of square, you cannot attack it with a pawn anymore. And here, difference that we always can kick it out. That's why positionally this was bad decision. Botvinnik says b3. What he played is natural move, but it was better to play queen e1 to have always retreat with this bishop on this side. And preparing b3 move here. And also additionally protect this rook. And also prepare this idea, knight b2, and there will be not rook b2 anymore, knight b2, rook b2, because this is protected, and this knight will transfer here. That was very nice positional idea here. You have to remember such a precise moves. When you see some idea, you have to check all the time what else can be here. And after b3, now Kotnauer played knight d6, which is huge inaccuracy here. The minuses and minuses of this move could be emphasized by queen e7 strong move, attacking here, and the point that after bc, dc, this bishop doesn't have any way to go here. And after bc, dc, bishop c4, bc, rook c4, rook c4, rook c4, knight d5. White has pawn up, but all suddenly black pieces are activated very well. Hello, Mircea. Nice to see you, man. How are you, man? Welcome. We are looking on Botvinnik games. Yeah, this queen e7 was very strong. And difference between move queen d6, queen d7 that after queen d6 he can take, and now queen e5, very strong move. Attacking this queen. Once it goes, we retreat with bishop, stay with piece up, and here white is winning. So queen e7 was very nice move, but Kotnauer did not see. And after queen e7, Botvinnik thinks that a4 was the only chance here to continue fight for initiative here. So he played knight d6 immediately. Now, due of weaknesses of squares and control over c file, white will gain some advantage here. Baadur, you look like you are ready to cast an evil spell on patches everywhere. What? I don't understand the meaning. Sorry, my English not so good. Can you uh, tell me the same sentence in much more easy way, like you telling to kids, for example? Transform your idea to much more easy way to tell. So rook c8 was played by Botvinnik, logical move. Bishop c8. For any case, black is freeing this place for knight in case rook will place this place to attack it. You're like a wizard. Yeah, somebody call me priest. You call me wizard. So you have to decide who I am finally. So knight e5 was played by Botvinnik here. On first sight, it looks like a most active move. Same time, if one of the knight will take this square, he will be kicked out by this pawn. But in reality, white is losing very important time by Botvinnik. The modest move queen c2 was much better, and also creating very unpleasant idea of queen c7. They trade the queens when black's position in the game will be without any counterplay. He says that previous positional play, tough game, was he lost so much time that he was very close to Zeitnot, time trouble, and he that's why he uh, played 95 quickly here. Bishop d7 by opponent and g4 all suddenly from this side. Now he says that queen c2 was not so good anymore because of queen e7 and rook will take this square. That's why he lost time. Now after g4, he's first of all not attacking the king side. The idea not allow knight a5 move, and he must not to think about how to defend this pawn. Um, I don't know. Maybe I would play knight d2 here. Without the knight a5, knight f3 protect, but then queen b6, yes, he might be trying to avoid. Also some queen a5 idea here attacking, so that's why probably he played g4. Interesting move. g6 played by Kotauer, same time open this square and covering this diagonal. We see that all pawns are on the white. Usually this is anti-positional when you have light square bishop. King g2 played by Botvinnik. He says that he only was thinking to make next 20 moves. This was number 21st to reach the control. But knight d2 was much better, using that queen e5 doesn't work now. 2 of g5 attacking, and then this bishop falls. And for example, after knight e8 with idea f6, he would play b4 here, with idea go here. And after knight c4, knight b3, knight a3, rook a1, knight c4, and rook a6 with visible advantage of white here because of difference of bishops. Don't mess with me. Hello, man. But he played king g2, just some random move. Knight e8, queen e3, f6, knight f3, king g7. So both are playing without risk to reach the control. h3 was number 24's move. Still 16 moves to go. Queen b6 here. He says that it's almost impossible to avoid exchanges over c file of rooks, which from first sight uh, can be good for black to reach the draw. But he still had chances, hopes that he will use these black square weaknesses. So he played rook c5. Sorry guys. Instead of king g7, he played knight g7, of course. Now g7 here. He opened um, this rank, so h3, queen b6 was played, and now he played rook c5 here. So knight b7 was played, kick out this rook from strong position, rook c2 and rook c8. After that, he has to exchange, otherwise rook will take this important file, bishop c8 and g5. And he says that this was inaccuracy, typical inaccuracy in time trouble. For queen c1, for example, was much better with either bishop d7, then g5 here. And after queen d6, gf, knight h5, attacking both uh, pawns, knight e5. We see that this knight is very strong. Knight f6, then knight d2. This knight also very passive. And after knight h5, knight f1. And knight g3 with the advantage of white. Later they will push probably h4, h5 in this position. Let's see what is the difference between queen c1 first and g5 here. Aras Lamasu, how can I reduce the resolution of the stream? But why it shows 720? Anybody knows? Well, maybe my settings somehow changed on my Twitch channel. What did I do? Uh, Anybody knows technical side of Twitch? If you advise me how can I change it, I will go right now and change it. Before you tell me, I just don't know what to do. It changed it. I don't know how it changed it, but it was changed. So the difference between Queen C1 move first, emphasized by this very strong move by Kotnauer, Queen C7, taking control over important C file, and also this is attacked. So GF by Botvinnik, knight h5 attacked both pawns, knight e5, knight f6, queen d2 played by Botvinnik here. He says that this queen's position was so strong that he wanted to exchange it after queen c2 or queen c3. And then he wanted to use the weakness of these squares. So knight d6, logical move. This bishop's same time is very passive, but same time is strong because it protects these pawns. Queen c2, Botvinnik plays, and forcing to take care because after queen b6 there should be also considered bishop g6 idea. Very strong move. So that's why he take. He asked why black is agreed to go to endgame. Queen. What about queen e7? Then he would play knight b c3, e2, g3, and defend his pawn with, or just play bishop knight c3, knight e2, defend these pawns. Next step would be uh, to use this file for very active play. Like, for example, imagine we go here, we play some random moves like king g7, bishop e7, then this queen would penetrate somewhere here, then a4, break these pawns, and emphasizing that this pawn is weak. Yeah, that was a good plan. Probably that's why Kotnauer decided to exchange because he saw that he anyway will sooner or later will need to change it. So this was the only way now. Um, the best moment now to exchange. So bishop c2 played by Botvinnik, and knight f7 played by Kotnauer. Some commentators, some players was offering to play b4 after the game, with idea in case of ab to play knight b5, activate knight and attack here. But after ab, knight b5, bishop. No, I mean in this position after b4, bishop d3 was very strong move. Not allows this knight b5 and attacking here, because after e5 probably he wanted to take and then knight c6 and grab this pawn. He says that most reasonable continuation by black was to just bring this king closer to center. So he played knight f7. Now he says that place for this knight, the best place would be on c5. So most logical would be play knight d2, then b4, then knight b3, knight c5. Instead he played knight c3, knight e5, f takes e5. This was number 35 move. Still 5 moves to reach control, but it's a simple position, so it was not too hard. So he played king f3, activating king. Knight c7 protects the weaknesses. So probably Kotnar had hoped to create some kind of fortress here. So let's see what happens. King e3, king f7, and strong move knight e2 here. Banana Sif, I read that Twitch decides what resolution options are available until he gets partnered. What the hell? Okay, thank you. So I cannot change it or what? So Botvinnik said this was very strong move, which leads to success very quickly. Could reach to success if Botvinnik would have uh, 1 more minute than he had. So he had planned with to play knight f4, then h4 and h5 activate his pieces. So king e7 was played by Kotnauer, knight f4, a5. At least one of the pawn finally get to the black square. He said that 1 year before this game, he was uh, played against Kotnauer again with white in Groningen, and it was almost similar position. He had good chances for draw, but again he lost. So the story repeats here. Knight d3 played, and knight c5 is aiming, not allowing also b4. And he says that actually this was bad idea to play knight d3 because it was control move number 40 and he wanted to reach the control and then adjourn game. So h4 was much stronger, continue his ideas. And idea was after b4, ab, ab to play h5, uh, free this diagonal. And in case of g8, there would be bishop h7 and uh, this pawn will be lost. After h4 there is a fork, and in case of g5 then would be knight d3 strong move attacking here, and after knight e6 strong move then h6 very important, not allow h6 with trovish chances, and now this pawn will attack here, maybe next move knight c5 reaching the winning bishop at game, but he played knight d3 himself too early here in this position. After knight d3 he plays knight a6. So now black has time to create some counterplay on the queen side because there is no threat. Again, he should ignore this counterplay and continue with the same ideas. So now he played b4. Looks like this logical continuation to play against bad bishop, but same time this pawn will become a chronicle weakness here. So he takes ab, and knight b8 with the idea to put it on c6 and attack both pawns and reduces chances of this king to be activated. He says that his idea was to play king d2, king c3 to protect both pawns and then free this knight for actions, right? Until he would do this, now black had very nice chances to activate his position on the king side and put pawns on black's squares. And in case of king d2, for example, bishop d7, king c3, he had time to play bishop e8, try to activate his pieces. But then knight c5, still this move. I guess instead of bishop e8, maybe h6 was good chances for draw here. It was very hard to now to attack this. Probably it would be draw. But instead of that, he plays knight b8 here, king d2, knight c6, and this was game was adjourned before, few moves before, and he says that it was bad quality home analyzed by Kotnauer. This move was mistake. Uh, Kotnauer is going to transfer this knight from d8, f7 to h6, and here. But he says that in some cases, the exchange of bishop to f5, mm, uh, bishop to knight on e5 would be very good for white. Maybe he says that it was better to play knight d7, knight b6, knight c4. So knight c6, king c3, logical continuation, control these pawns. Knight d8, what else? h4, knight f7, and knight f4. Again, he reached this position what he could reach a few moves before. He says that finally white found the right plan here, which they which they uh, missed on 40 moves, on 40 number 40s. So bishop d7 and king goes back now. H5 would mistake here because of g5 now, and then h6, and black would hold. So that's why he brings king first, bishop e8, bishop d3, knight h6, and h5 finally, strong move. Now this is good for white because g5 is not possible. Duel of knight h3 attacking both pawns. And in case of uh, bishop h5, there would be knight g5 move and losing this pawn. That's why they need to agree to have another weakness on g6 after h5. So he played knight f5, hg. He cannot take this bishop because of this. So he played this. For example, if he would make mistake here, Botvinnik, yes, if he would take here and h6, the point that this is a fortress. This white king cannot go penetrate anywhere in this position. That's why he took hg, hg, bishop f5 again would lead to draw, he thinks. Probably he would take, for example, here, then this bishop would go here, protect this pawn, and this king would go here, not allow this king somehow penetrate from here, and then nothing to do to activate this position. So he played king c3 here, king f7, and bishop e2. He said that more precise was immediately bishop f1, with bishop e2, bishop d7, knight d3. We see that now very close to draw, whole game. King e7, knight c5, bishop e8. Of course, knight d7 was threatened. Take this pawn into keep. This bishop always has to control this. King has to control this, and same time king has to be here because after knight e6 with knight 7 idea, it has to have this square control this one. So far, black is holding. So he played knight a6. He said he was repeating her moves to reach another control. So king d8, bishop g4, bishop d7, knight c5, king e7. And now he says that he was trying to trick his opponent. He played king d3. It's necessary to trick. Now he says that when when white cover this diagonal, it seems like black is not necessary to have this bishop to control this square. But now, instead of bishop c8, what he played g5 was very strong move here. And after f4, with idea gf is bad move because of bishop a5, ef, knight d7, white is simply winning here, yes? They will come win these pawns here. But after f4, knight h6, very strong move. The difference between bishop f5, ef, and f4 is that black has g4 and this position is draw. So f4, but knight h6 and attacking this bishop. And why black need to draw? So g5 was last chance here, but he played bishop c8, natural move. Bishop h3 now by Botvinnik to avoid this g5, f4, knight h6 tempo. And he played king e8. And he said this was a tragical moment for black. He thinks that nothing threats to black position, and the only move here was knight h4, and later to play g5 here, and they still could resistantly continue to defend this position. But he played king e8, and after king c3 move, black resigned here. Because they realize that this pawn will fall now. The idea to play bishop f1, after bishop d7, we just take and take on b5, then go back on d3. Uh, and in case of bishop d7, there is bishop f1. And unfortunately for black, if king was here, he would have bishop 6 or bishop e8. And now this will fall. So he simply resigned after king c3. Carlonian, hello man. Baadur, was not bishop f5 winning after a Yes, I told that, for example, in this position, after a this was position. When if we change, he would take here. Then, for example, king e3, I guess we play this, protect this pawn. King f3 with idea penetrate, right? We play here, king g3, and black is on time. If king g5, white is winning here. But king h6, and I don't see how to win here. I'm not sure, maybe it's winning still. Some Zugzwang ideas, maybe. How to make the Zugzwang equation. I don't see the Zugzwang ideas here from first sight. So f3, for example, not king g7 because king g5, but bishop g8 only move. Tricky position. And now knight, unfortunately, knight e2 meets bishop 7, knight c3, and black is on time to control. The point that if white will penetrate, for example, on g5, right, it should be winning now, I guess. But let me think how. In this position, we create a Zugzwang. We play f3, very strong move. The point that king cannot go here, here, or here because king f6 penetrate and take this pawn. Bishop doesn't have this square because of this. Only move is bishop g8. Then we have this important check. So after king h7, we simply make fork take and king f6. King f6. So this important square black has to cover, but after knight f6, they're losing. Inventable knight g8, king f6, king e6. Yeah, it is very tricky in game. Domination of knight. Yeah, that's how pity Kutnauer lost probably Drovish in game. Let me find some good game. Okay, very instructive game, I guess. It was played draw between Kotov versus Botvinnik in Moscow 1947, same tournament like previous game. And Botvinnik, I guess, missed the winning. Let's see. Alexander. So this was the game. This was he was with black, and let's see, d4 by Alexander Kotov, very strong player. e6. Botvinnik is ready to go French, so c4 he plays. f5, knight c3, bishop b4. So Botvinnik also often was playing Dutch system by black. He says that such a mix of uh, Dutch and Nimzowitsch ideas has some sense. So queen c2, knight f6. We see that black is controlling this square, and e3. Carlonian, do you know any top player who uses candidate moves technique? I don't know, man. Never ask. Probably all of them. e3, played by Kotov. He says that Akiba Rubinstein was playing like this against Dutch. Then he was playing bishop d3, knight e2, f3, bishop d3, and long castle. Very tricky idea. And then he was open files on king side and attacking them. So castle, bishop d3, d6, knight g2. Very flexible setup by white. c5. In case of a3 now, he wanted to take knight c3, knight c6, and put big pressure on the center here. But Koto played d5 in this position. And he says that this decision was not good. Thank you very much for following. Koto was trying to use the weakness of uh, light squares in camp of black position. Now it was bad to accept this sacrifice. Duel of bishop c4 the pin, and after bishop e6, queen b3, Botvinnik was losing this knight here. For example, after e3, uh, he could also go bishop a5, what he played against Taimanov in Moscow 1953. So it was played like 6 years later after this game. So d5 he played, and bishop c3, nice move by Botvinnik. This is a point of black's defense. Uh, in case of queen c3, it's possible to play with e5 and close the position when these bishops will be not so active. And this maneuver is not possible anymore. So knight c3, also this knight also distracted from this maneuver. So that's why he took it. And now he takes d5. This move is necessary to avoid the exchange. So cd, and now he played very interesting move, knight g4. He's protecting this pawn, at the same time he's aiming to go here. Also some tactical chances. Here knight is have very active position, he says. And if white will push him away, something like this, they will weakness position of the king side. Also, we don't feel the real power of pair of bishops in this position. Uh, so played castle by Kotov, knight e6 with either knight b4, bishop e2. It was hard to advise something better here, but such a move, it's you decline to play for the initiative. And now most precise move was queen e7 here, but he played knight No, he played bishop d7. Now white could improve their position with f3. In case of knight e4, knight e5, they could have f4 here. Knight g6, because knight g4, bishop g4, ef, e4 would be very unpleasant with the idea to march this pawn forward. But Kotov played very passively here. He played b3. First of all, it's passive, and also transfer this bishop to this diagonal weaknesses the king side. You will not have f3 move because of this. So he played queen e7, bishop b2, and rook a e8. So all pieces are ready. Rook a e1 by Kotov. Romanovsky was recommended to play h3 here to kick out this knight, and after knight e5 to take on a6, ba, and play f4. Knight g6 and rook a1. But he says that instead of knight e5, knight f6 was better, and knight e4 later. So Koto plays rook a1, preparing some e4 ideas. Knight c7, take control on d5, and also preparing b5, b4 here. And Koto took this annoying knight here. Again, after h3, it was knight f6, knight h6, knight e4 idea. That's why he eliminated this knight fg. But now black has very unpleasant pressure on these two files. e4 played by Kotov. Probably when he was going all this line, rook e1, bishop g4, he had dreamed to somehow make e5 happens. But knight b5 played by Botvinnik. And he thinks that Kotov did not seize this idea. After knight b5, bishop b5, they're losing the exchange here. And in other case, this knight will take a very important strategical point on d4. f4 played by Kotov. But means that was not better to play knight b1 here, with either knight d2, knight c4, and then e5, yes, or immediately, because of knight d4. And after, now bishop b5 is threat, so bishop d4 cd, and for example, queen d3 covered this diagonal attacking here. There was queen e5, pleasant move, blocking this pawn. Knight d2 is idea knight c4, then b5. So this knight completely trapped, yes, he does not have this square, this pawn not allows this move. And after rook c1, rook c8. And in case of f4, queen f6 would be leads to complex position. And then rook c3 is coming here. We see this square is weak. That's why Kotov tries to change the matters, and he plays f4 here. Gf strong move. Rook f3. Koto was Koto was going to play knight b5 here, but he declined duel of fg in last moment. And after rook f8, queen g2. Otherwise, after knight c3, there is bishop h3, killing move, and rook f1. You cannot defend this move with killing idea. So queen g2 would be necessary, but bishop b5, and black has pawn up. But anyway, this was better to play because despite their pawn down, they had a good chance to make draw. For example, after e5 and then activate pieces. To compare to the game, this was the best hope. But he takes rook f3, and after rook f3, gf, knight d4. We see that this knight is alive, and it creates a very annoying threats. Look at this. This knight is such a beautiful place here. Queen g2 played by Koto, and rook f8 he played. But he says that probably much stronger was to play queen h4, attacking the rook. We cannot play queen g3 because we take and then take and take the rook. Same time, maybe bishop h3 is coming, and we cannot play rook f1, yeah, because of bishop h3 losing the exchange. Probably he should play rook e3 here, and after that rook e5. And the point that if knight e2 here, uh, not rook g5 because of knight g3, but after knight e2, queen e2, rook g5, and bishop h3, there would be devastating attack here. So queen h4 was a very strong move. Instead, he played natural but less powerful rook f8, attacking this pawn. Rook f1 by Kotov. Probably after rook e3, Botvinnik was going to play queen f7, and it's problematic to protect this pawn, or even queen f6 here. And after he has to go king f2, which is very risky. So rook f1 to have f4 move after queen f7, and now he played queen h4. We see the difference. Uh, After queen h4 immediately, now he would have bishop h3 move, and this position white to move. So they using this for queen g3 move, and they sacrifice pawn but exchange the queens, which is more important. Ag, bishop h3 strong move, because he not allow activate king after knight f3. So rook f2 and knight f3, king h1 in corner, and now he says that he played knight d4, and this the next simplification was not necessary for black. But he says that they are not changing the whole thing that despite that there's a different colors of bishops, black's position is winning. But it was not necessary to do it exactly now. Maybe it was better to play, I don't know, h5 first, and then bishop g4 with either rook e8, because anytime he would exchange more pieces. So he played knight d4. He probably did not want to allow knight b5 here. That was the idea. Rook f8, king f8. Now we see that black doesn't has pawn up, and also these pawns are weak. We see, and this one of these pawn potentially will be passer. King g1, try to bring king to the center. King e7 played by Botvinnik. King f2, both sides are activating kings. Bishop g4 played by Botvinnik, not allows this knight e2 exchange, and then this bishop will attack here, and also preparing e5. And after king e3, try to activate king, he played g5. Knight b1, attacking this strong knight, and knight f3 he played. In case of knight e2, king f2, white pieces would activating. And after knight f3, maximum they can exchange these knights, which not save the game. So he played knight d2. I mean, what else to do, because this pawn is mashing to the queen. So they have to hurry. Knight d2. So this game, the great Botvinnik missed to win. So let's see how it happened to him and not repeat such a structure, such a in games. D2, h5. So far, everything is logical. Hello, guys. Hello. Kurpen, Xamax. Hello. King d3 played by Kotov. White doesn't have anything, just to wait. He wants probably attack this pawn after king f6, then he go check and try something. Now, the simplest way to win this position was just continue push this pawn. And after gh, bishop c1 with idea to control, h3, bishop f4. Then he would play bishop f3, precise move. Uh, we chaining, or how to say, tie this king to this pawn, because we cannot move it, we will take it, and then two pawns are winning. And once this is chained, uh, this pawn will go to b4, and then to transfer this bishop to diagonal a6 f1 once we reach to b4, and go to c4. So something like, imagine we just wait. Let's put it here. Then we go b5, we wait, and b4. Then we can play even a5. Then we give this check, then c4. Or we will have two passers, or you have to take pieces and bishop c4 and eliminate this pawn too. So it was the simplest way to win. But unfortunately, Botvinnik did not play it. Instead of h4, he plays bishop h3 first. After king e3, bishop g2. He immediately transfers this bishop to right square. Bishop c3. Again, h4 was winning here. The same idea. But he plays, for some reason, he played b6 here. And Koto plays last hope in this position, b4. And last and desperate hope here. So he played h4, gh, gh, and he took bc here. And in this position, what do you think, guys? How should Botvinnik play here? I'll give you 2 minutes. Any ideas? What was the solution here? Botvinnik make mistake here, and the game drawn. Yes, Carolina, you're right. Botvinnik take BC, which seems to be more natural, yeah, because this pawn controls this. But DC was much stronger. We see that these pawns cannot move. Next idea will be h3, forcing this bishop go here. For example, bishop e1, h3, bishop g3. Then we will move these pawns like b5, a5, b4, c4, and they are unstoppable. But he played more natural BC, and this leads to draw. He played bishop e1, h3, and bishop g3. And he says that it's very strange position. King is chained to this pawn, uh, and if black will move this pawn, it will lead only to exchange c pawn to e pawn, and that's why draw is uh, really clear here. So bishop f1 he played, a3, bishop c4, king d2, bishop c a2, king c3, bishop b1. And after that, white exchange their pawns in the center, and nothing black can do here. Bishop a2, d check, king d7, bishop a2, bishop d5. Also, for any case, this square is black. For example, if we give this pawn for this pawn, then this bishop will sacrifice for this pawn, and king stays on a1, just theoretical draw. So he simply waits. Bishop here, bishop e6, bishop g3. Now, yeah, the point that they simply repeated some moves and was draw. The point that black cannot win even if they lead somewhere here, because after h2, white has this idea: d7, distract bishop, then take here and simply go back to this square, and it will be draw. And in few moves, it was draw. Okay, let's there was still some tricks after bishop in this position. He played bishop e5, bishop h2. So this position happened. King a4, king b2, and a5. Bishop 4, and then c4 was played. And he says it is black's last chance. So bishop g3, and he gives chance check here, king b3 and king a3 with idea somehow to promote. But Koto played bishop h2, and after king a2, bishop g3 here, and they agreed to draw because after knight after a4, because king b1 there is king b3 and block. After a4, uh, he simply played bishop h2, and after e3 he has king b4 move, not allow king b1, and after king b2 there will be always check here, so that's why they agreed draw. Baadur, how many hours do you work on openings usually? In this pandemic period, I almost don't work on openings. I stopped to work on that, and usually I was working much more before some tournaments. Depends. Could be 2 3 hours per day. Could be 10 hours per day. Depends. There is not a limited or fixed time. Okay, interesting game in Grunfeld. You're welcome. Yeah, very interesting. It was very interesting. So next game, Botvinnik is white against Novotelnov. So probably like this. Novotelnov. The same tournament in Moscow. Botvinnik started with d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight f3, bishop g7, and g3. So castle, bishop g2, and d5, Greenfield system. d6 leads to a fianchetto system of King's Indian. d5. There is also popular line in top level c6 here, and then d5 to have after cd, kind of symmetrical line. But in this game, cd5 also popular line, cd, knight d5, castle, and c5. One of the main line is knight b6, knight c3, knight c6, e3, and rook e8. This is a tabia of this variation. But in this game, Novotelno plays c5. And Botvinnik answered with e4. And he says this well-known theoretical line. White is not playing knight c3 to avoid typical Greenfield idea of the cd, knight d4, knight c3, bc, and knight c6 or queen a5. And black doesn't have problem with development. Another popular line is dc here, and after knight a6, try to take it, knight g5 or c6, creating weakness, and so on. But in this game, he plays e4, try to take control in the center. Knight b6, played by Novotelno, and he says that maybe more active is to play knight f6 here, attacking the pawn, and after e5 to go back. And it was played in game between Alekhin and Mikinas in 1937. But in this game, Novatello plays knight b6, d5 by Botvinnik. Probably after dc, uh, black can take and play knight a4, which is very unpleasant, attacking here and here. That's why the white side to play d5. Now they try to create strong center. e6 immediately try to uh, find counter chances against it. And bishop g5 by Botvinnik. Very sharp continuation, he said. From one side he creates, he's forcing to make this weakness. From another side, this bishop will be forced to go here, and after knight c4, black will have very important tempos. So f6 by Novatello, bishop e3 attacking here, knight a6 protects and develop, and after knight c3 protecting this pawn, knight c4 strong move. The right plan, he says. Now black wants to create ideal setup with pawn here and knight here like a blocker, and then in some moments he will play f5. In one of the game of floor, he played in worse way. He played ed here and arrived in difficult position. So knight c4, strong move. Hello, man. Hello. So because very banal answer, they're lazy to work. That's the answer. They, that's why there are not a lot of high-rated players. Okay, bishop c1. Uh, he thought about this move long time, and also he thought about knight d2 here. But he made conclusions that after knight e3, now of course not knight b2, duel of queen c2, and this knight will be trapped. So knight e3, and after that fe, ed, bishop d7, a4, control d square, knight b4, knight c4, f5. Black has equal chances here because the bishops are very strong, according to Botvinnik. So that's why he played bishop c1 to keep this bishop alive. This move and protect. e5, strong move. And in this position, he played knight b5, very strong positional decision. So he is ready to exchange this knight to this and not allow this to block this square. And this knight is passive. He will need long time to reach this square. So he was ready to sacrifice the material here for keep initiative. So bishop d7 by Novatello, a4, and queen b6. Novatello, he says that was very good positional player, and he felt that uh, it was better not to give this bishop for pawn after b and knight c7 here, because this light square bishop was very strong. Because what do you think? What positional decision could make Botvinnik here? What he had in mind? Double double exclamation mark idea here. Not only move, but whole idea. What do you think? Any suggestions? Bishop h3, he would take here and then penetrate in this. famous wizard is not what? Is not exclamation and inaccuracy on chess.com? I don't understand what do you mean. Famous wizard. Explain it in normal English. What do you mean? Yes, Carolina. Look at this idea. B4. So the point that black wants to take here, then bring this knight here and take this important square. So b4, distracting this pawn to b4. Now queen b3, strong move. Knight has to retreat here, otherwise it will be check. And after that, b6, very strong, another sacrifice. And after eb, rook e8, queen e8, queen b4. White has advantage here. Pawns are weak. This bishop is very strong. It can also perspective penetrate. So white would have better prospects. That's why Novotelov play queen b6 here. Aha. I don't know why it shows like that, but traditionally double exclamation mark means perfect move, and double question marks means extremely bad move. I don't know why it shows like that. So queen b6 he played, b3, knight a5. In case of knight d6, probably Botvinnik would exchange it and then bring this knight to here. That's why Novotelov keeps this important knight on the board and also keep eye on this pawn. Rook e1, maybe supporting with either support this knight. Now he played knight b4 and he said after bishop b5 ab, queen b5. Bishop a5 was a very strong move, attacking the queen. You cannot take because of rook a5. And in case of queen b6, there was h4, very strong move. The point that knight b3 not works, rook b1. That's why he played bishop f1, which not allows c4. And now white is attacking this king position where, and all pieces are so far from it. h5 and creates very much weaknesses here. Very strong analyzed by Botvinnik. That's why Novotelov plays knight b4 with idea to have a6 probably. Knight a3 this time, taking control over this. So his main plan was to distract this knight from d6 square, so he achieved it. a6 by Novotelov. Maybe he wants to prepare something like queen c b5 here. And bishop e3. He says that till this moment white was playing very well, but now they played not the best idea here. And this bishop not create some danger on this pawn because it can be defended very easy, and same time bishop on e3 will get under this idea. Correct decision was to play knight d2, kind of modern Benoni idea to get this square, and after queen c1, queen c7, bishop f1, strong move controlling this square. And now in case of f5, bishop e2, case of f4, knight c2. So they exchange this strong knight and keep this knight passive. Uh, that was the best continuation, but he played bishop e3, queen d6 by Molotov. So he trying to get rid from this pin, but much stronger was to play f5 directly. And this move emphasizes the weakness of this last move of white, and then f4 is coming. This was in spirit of position, but he plays queen d6, and knight d2 he played. Another plan with knight c2 would lead to an unclear position after knight b3, knight b4. This is attacked, forcing takes the rook, knight a2, because knight d3 maybe leads to c4. So knight a2, c4 here, queen a1, bishop a4, knight c3. It was very unclear position. Hard to say who is better in this position. And after bishop d7, because these pawns are very strong here. That's why he preferred to play knight d2. Thank you for following. Yeah, after knight d2, he played b5 finally. Uh, Knight d3 was losing here, duel of knight c4, then we take here and attack queen, and this is attacked. And with last move, they take control over c4 square. And as supply, they have this idea. But pawns on the queen side will become weak now. And here, white had good idea to take AB, and queen e2, attacking this pawn like this. But not bishop f1, duel of f5 with f4. And the difference is that now after f5 probably he would take knight b5. In case of bishop b5, queen b5, this will be under attack. That's why, uh, yeah, for example, after f5, knight b5, if you don't take on b5 with either queen b6 and have f4 idea, it doesn't work because of knight e3 move, f4 and this move, attacking the queen and free the diagonal. Or if we don't sacrifice and play rook a b8, then rook e c1 attacking here, rook fc8, and knight c2 strong move attacking here and then here, and black would have serious troubles here. But instead, in this position, he played bishop f1. The same idea but wrong technically. So f5 here. And now black will have an initiative here. So f3 not to lose the bishop, f4, f4 by black, bishop f2, fg. Now this rook starts to disturb here, hg, and bishop h6. Now this bishop looks here with a very unpleasant threat, bishop d2 and rook f3, and also knight b3 fork. And now black forcing white to play bishop e3 and exchange this very strong bishop defender, which weakens king's position and same time reduces the pressure on this pawn. So bishop e3, rook e3. You see that with two mistakes, white is in trouble. Queen b6 by Novotelno. This move emphasizes that without black square bishops, white in trouble now. c4 is coming. And only move king f2 probably to try to protect this rook from c4 idea. Such a artificial move by Botvinnik. That's a bad sign. So knight goes to d7 with either knight d6. Knight c2 by Botvinnik. And he says that of course the white need to exchange this very strong knight. And as more pieces will be exchanged, as easier to protect the king. Also in endgame, theoretically, this weakness of queen side can be an important factor. So take g5 by Novotelnov. He wants to play g4 or also queen h6 and try to attack here. Queen c3 by Botvinnik, attacking this pawn. So both plans are doing maximum in this position. Black on king side, and also in time trouble. It was still 10 moves to make. It was very unpleasant. And white so far not allowed to play knight d6 here. So queen f6 played by Novotelnov. Later on, rook a8 was advised by commentators, and to have this queen h6 idea. But after ab, this queen should control this square, because after queen e6 white would always have this rook e7. Very unpleasant idea here. So that's why he played queen f6, but white starts immediate actions on the queen side to distract black's attention from the king side. So he takes ab, ab, takes rook 8, rook 8, and rook e3, e1, strong move here. So now it becomes clear that white wants to take control over a file and reduce attack from the king side, because this rook will want to penetrate to 7th rank. But now black makes some tactical miscalculations. So he saw that after h5 and rook e1, he played rook e8, and now they are they try to trap Botvinnik for rook a7 here, but this was a mistake actually. Chill you more. Thank you very much for subscription, man. Appreciate. I guess we have new guy in chat. I don't remember your name. Thank you very much, man. So rook a7. This was the Norton's idea, and he saw that he has queen b6 move here, attacking the rook, and also c4. He saw that Botvinnik will miss it, but instead of be trapped, white is trapping the black, and rook b7, very strong move here. And the point that after queen b7, maybe Norton will see it, but he saw that Botvinnik will take here, and he's okay after queen a6, but he missed completely queen e3 move here. This pawn is more important, and king is very weak. And g4 only move, strong move by Norton. He found in hard moment the best decision. If white would win these two pawns, then they could later create three passers, f4, e4, and d5, which would smash black's position. That's why he played g4, check, and king f8. After check, king g8, and check, king f8. The position here was adjourned. And Botvinnik says that white has, of course, big chances to win here. Black's king position is open, and all black pieces are placed in wrong positions, bad positions. So queen f6, king h8, he repeat and take here. And Botvinnik says that in home analysis he was considered such a lines, like for example queen a7. In case of queen b6, he was going to play queen h8. In case of king d7, black loses this important pawn. Instead of king f7, check and take this bishop. So queen a7 with idea c4, but bishop b5 strong move. This was he analyzed. Black cannot take. We do way of check, check, and we take this queen here. Thank you for following. And he says that not queen h8, king e7, queen h7, king f8, bishop b5, duel of c4 check, and after king e2 there is a gf check, and in case of king f3 there is a bishop g4 check, and then we grab this queen, and in case of knight f3 there is a check here, and then we grab this bishop. Sally down. Hello man. How are you, man? Everybody say hello, and don't forget to follow our clone. Cool guy, bro. Welcome. We are analyzing Botvinnik games tonight. And after bishop b5, instead of this line, very nice. If you're doing good, keep going like that, man. Hmm. That's why instantly bishop b5, and after c4, now he has king e2, and there is no check, and uh, this is hangs, queen h8, the idea to take or win this bishop. And the best move probably in this position was c4 by Novotelov. And after check, king f7, bc, activate the queen, and after king g2, there was bc move. And bishop c4, and white still has good chances to win. But this was probably most like best continuation for black. But Novotelov in this position played rook a8, try to activate rook from the a file. The natural instincts of rook to take the open files. But and Botvinnik was surprised that Novotelov instantly played rook e8 when they continue adjourned game, and this move he completely missed and he did not analyze. And Botvinnik felt that this move is worse than other moves what we checked. And after a long thought, he found a very good idea. And now he decided to go for queen e5 or f4, but it was he had only 10-15 minutes, and soon would be very hard time trouble. That's why he decided to go for the fourth variation, and we sacrifice on b5, what we see now. And he played check, king f7, he gave check, he continue, he repeats to reach another control, and in this position he took bishop b5. And this beautiful move actually was leading only to draw. And instead, queen h6 was very strong move here. And after king f7, fg, with idea knight f3 here, attacking here. And after rook a2, what do you think? I give it 2 minutes. How white would win here? Maybe not winning, but to have big chances to win, at least practically. What was White's idea? What he missed? King g1, maybe he will play c4 and activate this queen over this diagonal. Should be something more forced. Okay, probably you're tired, guys. Here he played bishop b5. Looks a very strong move, but in real he is missing the draw. But g5 was double exclamation mark here. Look at this move. And the point that after rook d2, king e3, attack the rook. He cannot save the rook because, for example, if you go rook b2 is attack here, there will be g6 check, and after king f6 there will be g7, and in case of king f7, queen h7. And you cannot avoid this g8. And in case of probably best move, queen a6, try to block this pawn. He would exchange and play knight f3, attacking here. And Botvinnik saw that white had good chances here to win this game. And he's right. We can the bishop e8 somehow distract this bishop and try to win this one. At least practically he had good chances. But instead he played in this position, he played, no, I mean in this position, instead of g, he took here. Obviously bishop b5 loses after queen h7 check and we grab the queen. So queen b5 on the move. He gives check. Oh no, sorry guys, this is the position actually. This is so right direction was check and then fg. So he takes bishop b5, queen b5. He gives check, king f7. Then he takes rook and queen d3 by Novotelov, attacking knight and this queen a5 here. And now Novotelov thought that his position is hopeless and he immediately played bishop b5, which is decisive mistake here. In real, he could continue queen d4 check, king e2, gf check, using that knight f3 not possible because he picked up both of pawns, and after king f3, he had queen d3 check, and after king f2, bishop g4, and he could achieve the draw here. Some checks are starting, but he saw that he's hopeless already, losing anyway, and he immediately, without thinking, played bishop b5. And the difference is they're losing all their pawns after queen c7 check. Unfortunately, now king g8 doesn't work because of check. In king g7, it will be check here, and after that, it will be check here, and they're losing. And king e8 he played. Yeah, very surprising. He was playing on Botvinnik's time trouble, but it doesn't help. Queen e5 check, king d7, and then check on f5, king e8 here. If black will go to the black square, there will be check on f4 g5, protecting the knight, and then pick up this pawn. Better say will be check here, check, and then queen e3, not allow this queen to check. That's why he played here, and after queen h5 he resigned, because once again if he goes here, here, or here, it will be check here or here, and then queen e3. And in case of king d3 he lost this pawn too, and game is over. Yes, this is how he lost the game. 1 second. One second, I guess I need to change the title maybe. One second, guys. Okay, I'm back. Let me show you another game. Chilmo, bravo man. Everybody thank to Chilmo. Botvinnik Rogozin. Let's see this game. So, Twinkle Toes, no, thank you, man. How are you? By the way, how did you finish Chicago Open? While I was asking you to help, I realized how to solve the problem. So, game was played between Botvinnik versus Vyacheslav Rogozin in Moscow 1947. They also played a lot of training matches, so they've been friends. Let's see this game. In choice system, c4, e6, knight c3, bishop b4, uh, e3, uh, disco berry, hello man, and queen e7 played by Rogozin here. And Botvinnik says this was in the spirit of Rogozin, such ideas. He always was trying to surprise opponent with new, fresh ideas. He, but it has also sense. In future, he wants to open e file. But Rogozin was going to fianchet his bishop later, so it was more logical to do it instantly. Knight e2 by Botvinnik, the well-known idea of Rubinstein in Sochi. They want to force exchange the bishop and take it with knight, not create weaknesses on the queen side. b6 played, a3, bishop c3, knight c3. We know, for example, there is a one very fashionable line nowadays, castle, knight e2, and queen e7 is not so good move here. So rook e8, a3, and bishop f8. This is very interesting lines, and e4, d5, and so on. But after queen e7, unfortunately for black, they don't have this retreat of bishop. So they are ready to give this bishop. Bishop b7 by Rogozin. And he played d5 here. Thank you for following. And he says that bishop d3 is also was possible here with idea e4. Because the exchange operation rook g1, bishop b7, rook g7, it's better for white here. But after bishop d3, black could play simply d5. Thank you for following, guys. So he played d5. That was point. Hello guys, welcome. Uh, d5 he played. Oh, hello Leventa. Nice to see you, man. Yes, I'm always with book. Yeah, different with me and Jesus Christ. That probably he did not have a Botvinnik book on his hands, and I guess he played much better chess than me. So he decided to play d5 and squeeze black's possibility in the center. He played d6 here. And bishop e2 by Botvinnik. He simply develops. And knight d7 here. And so, unfortunately for black, they cannot use this pawn weakness with queen e5 here. Because e4 was coming, and after knight e4 there was check here, and then we take this knight. So Rogozin simply develops the pieces after knight d7. So castle, castle, and e4 in this position by Botvinnik. Okay, I will do it. I will increase my volume a little bit like this. Is it better? But now probably will be echo. Something tell me. What if I will I think decrease desktop audio and increase audio input? Let's try like that. I will put it less now. Maybe then will not be echo. Okay, so um, now we can make conclusion about this opening. So after opening finished, white has advantage of pair of bishops and also space advantage. Black pieces are very passive, and it's not so easy to find counterplay for black side. Some masters was advising to play knight e8 with idea f5, but after bishop e3, f5, ef, and after we open e-files, there will be bishop d4, rook e1, and it's only good for white, especially when bishop is close here. So black's position are really difficult. So Ragozin do the right decision here. He played ed. Then after ed, rook f e8 here, taking the e file, and bishop e3 move. So the idea to put this bishop in a very active position in the center and put very unpleasant pressure on king side, and then connect the rooks. And we see the difference between these bishops and this a6 played by Ragozin. For any case, control this square. It was possible in some moments even transfer this knight here. Queen c2, Botvinnik played. And now knight d e5, which is wrong decision by Ragozin. Black's position are really very critical here. Now, but Ragozin should realize that his main enemy is knight on c3 here. So knight e4 was probably a good move. And after bishop d3, he could take knight c3, bishop h7, then king h8 in this position. And this is harmless for the black duel of queen h4 attacking bishop, and here. And after bishop d3, knight e5, and we see that black has perfect compensation for the pawn here. Also was interesting in this position to play b5, try to create counterplay against these pawns. And in case of cb, ab, knight b5, then black takes knight d5, and the point that knight c7, knight e3 will come, and then queen e3 and queen e2, or rook is c8 with pin. And in case of bishop b5 here, was very unpleasant. Knight d5, knight d5, bishop d5, and in case of queen c7, there is queen e4, very unpleasant move, attacking g2, and in case of f3, there is a check. But he plays knight e5 here, and it only helps white uh, to have very to develop the initiative faster here. So he played rook a1, logical continuation, bishop c8. So that was the Rogozin idea, to activate this bishop somehow. But they don't feel danger. So bishop d4 played by Botvinnik, bishop d7 and f4. Kick out this knight from the center. He played knight g6 only move because knight g4 is simply losing the game after bishop g4, yes, and we win the queen. So knight g6 only move. And what do you think? What Rogozin missed here? GM Hannibal Lecter. Nice, nice name. Do you have played the Botvinnik system of the black side in Semslaw? Maybe I played. I don't remember exactly when and with whom, but I definitely probably played. With white, I for sure. Maybe I played, yeah. But long time ago, not recently. Greetings from the Chile. Gracias. Hola, hola. ¿Cómo estás, mi amigo de Chile? De nada, amigo. Mi hablamos poquito español. uh, at g3, it was very slow decision, man. Because once, even if you play g3 h4, I will block you with h5. Also, you have to consider always options bishop h3. So in this position, Botvinnik played very strong move, g4 suddenly. Look at this move. Using that Tisco Bari. What do you mean, ignore you? Don't have any idea what you mean, but okay. So g4 very strong move because we cannot take, and here is attacking. Megalodon. Hello, man. Thank you very much for compliments. Yeah, I have it on my YouTube channel. I mean, uploaded. If you click about on my page of Twitch about, you can see the link to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for following, by the way. So g4 was very strong move here by Botvinnik. He wants to play g5 and catch this knight, yes. And now Rogozin play queen d8, bad move. Ah, okay, disco party. I understand. I saw that you mean that I'm ignoring you. So white don't want to lose any time to develop the initiative. So g4, and after g5, this knight doesn't have any square. Uh, h6 leads to hopeless position after bishop d3 tempo, and the problem is that after queen e1, rook e1, rook e1, king f2 attacks the rook. In case of rook h1, there is a king g2, so rook a8. White would take bishop f6, and after gf, so we take bishop g6 and completely destroy king side here. Uh, Thank you for following. Raven Wolf, sorry if I missed it. In this game of his uh, historical significance or just an interesting game? Thank you for following. Yeah, I'm just choosing some random interesting games from his books, and we try to understand his ideas, his instructive explanations of not only positional play but in general ideas, because he was also very strong in dynamical chess. No, no, Disco Barry, come on, feel free to offer even if it's bad lines. It reminds me same like when you're learning language, new language. Some people they have they're afraid or shy to speak wrongly, yes, and that's why they have problems to learn language. But I think it's better to try to speak even if you speak badly, you know, to cross this border in your mind, and then you will learn language much faster. Same here, you need to offer variations even if it's bad, and starts after negotiations you improve your skills. Hello, sweeter. How are you? Huge fan. What means sweeter? But okay. Are you telling me or somebody account of sweeter here? No audio? What do you mean? Who is this guy? No audio, no audio, no audio. Don't act like kid, man. I don't want to ban you now. Okay, let him. Better don't pay attention. Probably he's just kid or weak-minded. Who knows? Or maybe both. So g4. Uh, the problem is that once I increase too much the sound, it becomes the echo. So until I will not have a normal microphone, it will be always like that. So be patient, man. I advise you if you have microphones, put it microphones, and you will feel much better. Or maybe just drunk. Yes, Lemente. Okay, g4. Uh, h6 was losing, but according to Botvinnik, the only move was here king h8 to have after g5 it is possibility to retreat on g8. But we see that such a position it's very hard to play, yeah, over the board. But Ragozin played queen d8. At least uh, he don't have these ideas over e file, but it's too slow. g5 by Botvinnik. Only move is knight g4 and queen d2 strong move. Okay, thank you, Levente, to let me know. White controls e3 square. Also, after e5, they will cover this pawn, and same time they threat h3 and win this knight. So black is really a huge trouble here. You see that with simple play, but when you get almost winning position here. And this slow move, quiet move, completely refutes whole game of black. h6 played by Rogozin and f5 played by Botvinnik, attacking his knight. I'm just curious why he didn't play h3. Let me understand what was here. He's not commenting this easy move, but why? What I'm missing here? Maybe he did not want to allow AG, something like bishop g4, knight e4, but this position is winning for white, of course. It's not enough compensation. I don't know, h3 also looks winning if I'm not blundering some tactics. Okay, let's see. He played a5, maybe it leads the same. attacking both knights same time. Knight g6 e5 on the move, and now h3. Yeah, he not allow even ag94 idea. Okay, yeah, this is more precise way, of course. Knight f6 is on the move, and now we take, and they don't have any compensation. Thank you for follow. And they just continue play just for by inertia. Queen f4, protecting, and also preparing knight e4. Thank you guys for following. Rook e7, king h1, c5 played by Ragozin, bishop g1. He freed this square for bishop, not for rook. g6, and after a few moves, okay, this just senseless continuation of game. In few moves, he just resigned here. Oh, now very interesting and game. Now will be very cool game between Paul Keres and Botvinnik in Moscow, 1947. Let's see this game, guys. With black. This is famous game. I'm sure Levente know it. Famous endgame. Famous endgame beauty by Botvinnik. Paul Keres. Paul Keres was from Estonia, and he was one of the main rival of Botvinnik, but always unfortunate. So what's going on here? d4 started by Keres, e6. Botvinnik offers to play French, of course. Uh, Knight f3 by Keres, and f5. So in this game, he played f5 to avoid uh, draw. The Dutch system is not the safest way to play. So g3, knight f6, bishop g2, bishop e7, castle, castle. This is one of the main line in this. And he played d5, try to create a Dutch wall here, stone wall. He says that he decided he chose this line, this against Keres, because Keres was very strong in tactical play, but in position position nuances in closed uh, closed game, he was not so strong. He played knight c3. Botvinnik says that knight b2 was make more harder black's position, and then this knight goes here, this knight goes here. But knight c3 also is main line. Another line we know is b3 and bishop a3. Try to exchange these bishops when pawn will be here. Oh, sorry, knight c3 was played. Okay, I'm sure if you will see the position, you will remember. C6, rook b1 by Keres. Thank you for following. He's preparing assault on the queen side. Reshevsky in Nottingham in 1936 played against Botvinnik like that. They both been 25 years old, because Reshevsky and Botvinnik was born in the same year, in 1911. So in 1947 it means Botvinnik was 36 years old here, exactly my age. King h8 he plays, and cd5 by Keres. Uh, and it only seems that this is necessary to exchange, because after b4 it's like dc and knight e5, knight d5, using this knight doesn't have support here. And in this position, Keres was after cd expecting ed and start to immediate attack here. But in this position, all suddenly Botvinnik took cd, and he says he gives exclamation mark for this move, and he says that this is a simple move, refutates White's plan. So the position very similar to Catalan system, but the difference that pawn the usually on f7 and knight on d7, and then this bishop developed from here on this diagonal. But this has minuses and pluses here. This pawn became weak, but same time these pawns control very important square. So in this position, in this game, Botvinnik shows that this is more. These pawns are more like power than weakness. And this move is like losing of time. Bishop f4 played by Keres, logical continuation. Control this diagonal in this square. But he says that much stronger was to play knight e5 to avoid this move. Probably Botvinnik, I'm sure, would play this move, yeah? And then anyway here, because exchange of this bishop is foul for black. Okay, so bishop f4, knight c6 was played, and he played knight e5 here. This move is harmless, duel of knight h5, and there is no chance to penetrate on c7 because black would take care, and after this they would eliminate this bishop and then catch this knight with move bishop d7. Such a move like bishop 7 can be dangerous for white after queen d7 because a6 is a threat. Knight e5 doesn't work, we take and then take the knight. That's why he plays knight e5. Botvinnik plays logical bishop d7, and he plays rook c1. We see how many times he yeah, usually cd structure is considered to be bad. Yeah, and we see, but Keres is losing too much time. He plays rook b1, now rook c1, rook c8. Very flexible setup by black. Queen d3. Keres trying to connect these rooks and same time control this square. And knight h5. He says that it's useful to push away this bishop from active diagonal. And he played bishop d2 here. Probably white did not have time to take care with the idea place bishop in this square, because I guess maybe knight f4 was unpleasant move. In case of this, we don't take with pawn because of blocking, but after a simple rook c6, for example, this bishop has very strong perspectives. And in case of knight d8 here, I guess maybe ed is simply bad because these two pawns will be weak. And in case of knight e6, probably knight c1 is good move, and after knight f8, black has choice between knight e2, take care and penetrate rook c2, I guess, or I'm thinking maybe even this move is working now. I'm not sure. bc, knight e2, bishop f8 probably works. I'm not sure, but works for black. So knight d7 will be probably only move. Then I give check and rook c2, and black has some chances. I'm not sure if it's advantage or not, but looks like bishop d5, rook b2, for example knight e5, maybe g6 I'll play. Then, okay, this looks interesting. Also in this position, maybe what we have, actually we don't have anything else. Yeah, maybe actually this move was interesting to take knight c6, because definitely this is foul for white here. We take very important square. So I'm definitely sure that Botvinnik was going for this line, but for some reason he didn't mention this line. What's going on here? So Knight c1 forced, knight f8. It's very concrete line, donkey boy. So knight e2 or rook c3, two moves here we have. Both are not convincing for me at all. So I guess as minimum, this knight c6 moves was deserved to be annotated. Critical position, by the way. Because it's my habit to hold books like this. I love it. Yeah, I'm a famous wrestler. Yeah, Quadraspas, please. Shh. I know the way how you're thinking, especially after you drink. We all know it, especially in pandemic periods. All rest became so strong. Probably knight h5, and I think knight c6 was very interesting here. But he plays bishop d2, and white loses control over this very important diagonal and this square. And after bishop d6, obviously not knight e5, because first of all it's positional mistake, because after d, knight out of game, and also white will have this square for operations. Maybe they can even transfer like e3 knight, e2 knight, d4 in future and disturb this pawn, and this is not recommended. So that's why bishop d6, using that bishop not anymore on this diagonal. And now white has difficult choice, or exchange on c6 like in game, or play f4, but this pawn will close this diagonal for bishop, and knight will come back to e4, and black is absolutely fine. Also maybe even tactical refutation by knight d4 maybe works. Queen d4, bishop c5. So that's why knight c6 take. Botvinnik says that knight d7 was more logical. But it's obviously that after queen d7, black has not any problem here. Knight will come back here, and no weaknesses, absolutely fine position. Predator is one of the best franchise of filmography, I guess. Yeah, Quadraspice made this logo on top of my head. Many thanks for him. I instantly, when he sent me to my mail, I even without thinking put I, I deleted my stupid logo what I had before. Instantly. I just remove it, that nonsense from my computer. It doesn't exist. It doesn't. It will never appears again. So bishop d2, and yeah, this position he take on c6, and bishop c6 take uh, by Botvinnik. And now Keres could not find any reasonable plan, and he starts to waiting queen f3. But I don't know. Maybe I would double rooks for any case to predict some changes over c5. I don't know. Rook c2, rook c1 looks for me from first sight most logical continuation here. He plays queen f3. I don't know why he plays like that, pushing knight for good place. Probably he want to play after knight f6, bishop f4. That's why Botvinnik plays queen e8, protect the knight, and he just go back. Alien versus Predator, very interesting movie, especially the first part when they are in this snow place. Very interesting one. Uh, After queen d3, he played knight f6 here, and he says this was positional mistake. Uh, h6 was better to play, he says. a3 by Keres, rook c7, and again h6 was good. And the point that uh, by according to Botvinnik, it was very important to keep this knight on the board, and bishop g5 by Keres to exchange it to knight, and he wants to take bishop with f6 and then play f4 and close the position, and then black will not have any perspectives to attack. So he played knight g4. He says that he started nervous and played useless move without any plan, because ideas like knight h2 or queen h5 easily refuted by white. Thank you for following. Um, Thank you, guys. So queen d2 played by Keres. Additional protection for bishop to avoid queen h5, then he will follow h3. Knight f6 played back, and bishop f4. And now he says that it is even easier to get the equal game. He played queen d7, bishop d6, queen d6. So this game, Keres will lost. Can you imagine what happens? Such a great player lost this position. We will see what happened here. Thank you for following, guys. Queen f4 by Keres. He said that Keres also was not comfortable enough in this position, but most easy way was to play rook c2, then rook c1, and probably it would be over draw very quick. But he plays queen f4, and now after queen f4, gf, rook c8. Right? Now was necessary uh, uh, to play knight a2 here to control c file. But and for example, after bishop b5, he takes and tactically holds this. Sorry, not here. The e2 pawn, because attacking here after rook c1, knight c1, it will be draw very quick. But he played e3 and losing important time. Botvinnik plays bishop b5 attacking the rook, and after rook e1, he played king g8 here. The point that in this position, white cannot exchange the bishops, because if bishop f1, we will take, and then knight e4, very unpleasant because of pin here. For example, this variation leads to problems for white. Knight e4, knight e2, and rook c2. And we see that it's very unpleasant position for suddenly. For example, after rook c2, I don't know if we take what happens. Probably would be check here. Yeah, and the white is loses pawn maybe. I'm not sure. In case of king g2, we take and we win, but what after king e1? The check and king d1, not king f1 because of check, but after king d1, what happens? In case of rook e2, king e2, knight h2, f3 maybe we have, and catch this knight. It doesn't work. So maybe in this position, black can go simply on c7, and after h3 they win this pawn like that. Looks like this is winning, and after this, tucked here, and g5, g4 is coming in worst case. Yeah, this was the idea. So bishop f1 was very risky. This pressure over c5 also very unpleasant. Good evening, by the way, Arsenal, I would say. And f3 he played, that's fine, to control these squares and play bishop f1. He played bishop c4. In case of e4, he always have knight h5 attacking here. Bishop f1 by Keres. Knight e8, very instructive transfer of knight. Botvinnik often used knights very well in his games. So he goes in here and try to get this square. In case of e4 here, he would go back on f6 with idea always have this move. So he slowly, step by step outplay Keres with such a great player. So he took on c4, c4 here. Um, Again, knight could not go anywhere because rook c2 move. That's why he played king f2. The general rules of endgame to activate your king, bring it to center somewhere. Logical continuation, knight d6 by black, logical, king e2, and b5. Black is starting action. And after that, he played king d3. So he achieved to bring this king to the center, but black's pieces are really too active. Yeah, white doesn't have any plans, they just need to be very patient here and just wait and hold position. The point that even pawn and game could be very dangerous for theoretically for white if this king will manage to get to this square h3. Imagine this endgame, pawn endgames, and king will be on g1, and then pawn h6, g5, hg, and could be dangerous here after g4, fg, g3, and this king will eliminate these pawns. Positionally very bad for white. Now in white's move, they would play b3 here, and would be okay after knight e2, but it's black to move, and they play b4. Now every move of white leads to very big troubles. He played knight a2 immediately. In case of eb, there would be rook b4 attacking here, also open this square for knight. Rook b1 would lead to rook b8 move, double attack here. And after king c4, king c2, knight c4, attacking here. Knight d1 doesn't work because of check, fork, ba, and we take rook. Here is winning position for black. For example, if you would play knight e2 here, it would lead to ba, and rook c1. Rook c1 immediately lose the pawn. After rook c1, knight c4, attacking the pawn. In case of a4, there is a fork. The very tough position for white. And after knight c1, this position, and now not knight c4 because of e4 with counter chances, but rook b8, very strong move. Not allow knight b3, and want to play rook b2 and later knight c4. Maybe this was most resistance defense here for white, but Keres was probably in bad shape already, so he played knight a2 here. ba, and rook a4, using that knight is protecting this rook. So this pawn is fall down. We take knight rook c8, knight c8, knight c3, rook a3, pinning the king and aiming knight b6, knight e4. King c2 he played. De4 was not helping here. Duel of knight d6 move, aiming fe knight e4. In case of ed, there is knight b5 pinning and win the game. So after rook a3, he played king c2 instantly. Knight d6 activating this knight, controlling knight b5 square. Rook b1, try to activate. King f7, rook b4, rook a1, aiming this weak pawn here. King d3, rook a1, h1 leads no way after rook b2, rook a2, protecting and say I'm attacking. So he played rook a3. Sorry, what is this? Rook a3, king c2, and go back. He repeat moves because in that time games was adjourned. He could adjourn game here and analyze in quiet at home with quiet atmosphere and find the winning plan. Of course, obviously, rook a4 exchange is winning for black because knights and games is very hard to defend. It's very close to pawn endings. So only chance for white is to keep rook on the board. And after king d3, what do you think? What played Botvinnik here? Next idea with double exclamation mark here. This why that's why this game is famous. Try to find the idea here. Very beautiful idea here. Fave Liar. Hello man, nice to see you again. Rook h1, then rook h2, knight c4, mate on d2. Yeah, that's interesting idea, but unfortunately it's not so good. Here, Botvinnik finds the best idea, I guess. But he found it in Analyze at home. Okay, it's very hard. The point that if black immediately attacks or f3 pawn or h2 pawn, white creates a strong counterplay. Yes, Raven Wolf, rookie one, double exclamation mark, bravo. So, for example, if black would play rook f1 attacking this, with the idea of taking it to attack and take with check, uh, white had strong move rook a4 attacking here. And in case of knight c8, he had knight b5 move, rook f3, and rook a6 with strong um, counterplay after rook c6 or knight c7 and attacking here. In case of uh, rook f3 here directly, rook a7, king f6, rook a6 would lead to the draw because knight cannot go anywhere because there will be check here and there is a pin. In case of rook h1 here would be um, rook a4 move here again, rook h2, rook a7 check. Yes, the same idea, yeah. So that's why very strong move here, rook e1. Look at this move, guys. This pawn is the most important here. So again, rook ba4 played, only chance to activate this rook. Otherwise, simply knight c4 and take this pawn. And knight c4, attacking here. Rook a7, and he played king g6. Hello, Dr. Transylvanstein. Yeah, maybe next time, not today. Today it's too late. It's almost 3 a.m. for me to make puzzles now. The point that white is in serious trouble here. Knight e2 not possible because of check, and then we grab this pawn. So they are forced to play e4, to e4, rook e3 check, king c2, and rook f3 move here. ef played by Keres. Uh, in case of ed, there was check, king d2, and knight d5. And even rook and game doesn't save here because after knight d5 ed, for example, rook a6 check, king h5, rook a7, king h6. In case of check, there will be g6, rook d7, rook f4, rook d5, king g5. Black would go after this pawn and win the game here. So after um, this position, that's why Keres took on f5 with idea ef, knight d5 with chances for draw, but king f5 strong move, giving this pawn but keeping these strong pawns, and check on f2. Now king d3 leads to mate in 1. He has two options. What choose Keres to go to the corner here or first. It was very unpleasant to put king on the first rank after rook h2 because it was very passive, but on b3 and a4 also it will be very passive. So he give check, king d4. It's very far away from the main battle. So rook h2 protecting. This is attacked. Rook f7 only check. King goes to g6 with tempo. Rook f8 keeping defense and try to play f5 check and then try to take here. But of course, Botvinnik not allows this. He plays knight d6 blocking the pawn. Knight b5 by Keres trying to exchange the knights and find some chances in rook and game. But knight f5, of course, keeping the knight on the board, and it will not only support this pawn but also attacking here. Also covering this, close this file from rook and can be attacked very easily here. Knight c7 attacking only weakness of the position. Rook e2, not only defend but also preparing rook e4. Knight e8, last hope some creating some checks. Simply take on d4. So black has two pawn ups, king is very far, game is over very quick. Rook c6 check, king h5. Knight g7 leads nowhere. After king g4 we simply push this pawn. So he played rook f7, and after that Botvinnik played knight f5 precise move, killing all hopes. And after rook f7, king g4, going after this pawn, and two pawns will win the game because there is no chance to give this knight for both of them. Um, he played rook d7, king f4, knight c7 with idea knight d5 to make draw, but of course king e5. Here was probably shortest way to play simply d4 and then e5 and push because knight is also protecting itself. But he played king e5, king b4, rook c2, cut a king from the main, from the pawns there. To cut the king in the endgame is the main, one of the main uh, um, idea, especially in rook end games. You have to always try to cut the king from pawn. King b3, knight d4, check. Or what a bloody hell, he's not playing. King b4, rook c4 check. King a5, knight f5 here. The only thing what I have to be careful not allow these sacrifices for two pawns. King a b6 and d4 he played. In some moments he wants to play knight e3 and even take here. Knight a6 was played. He wants to go here and block pawns. Knight d6, knight c5. Otherwise, this free pawn was simply promoting. King d5, attacking the knight. Knight d3 and e5. And now black doesn't have any problems to promote pawns. So rook h7. He gives check on c6. King a5 on move. To be closer, knight c4 check. King b5, rook b6 check. King a4 with some stalemate ideas, but knight b2 check. And they just repeat. So he played simply rook b8 here. So now he wants to play knight b2 and they no king b6 idea anymore. So knight b4 first, king e6, knight c6, knight b2 check, king goes to a3, knight c2, king 4. He's like torturing Keres here. Rook d1. Unfortunately for Keres, he cannot make some stalemate ideas here. For example, if you would take ed, he cannot make this mate rook here, because after rook h6 I will go here. If you give check here, I will take with knight, no stalemate. If you play rook h5, I play knight e5, no stalemate. Same story, if you play rook e7, I play king d5, again take, and after rook d7 I cover like this. So no stalemate ideas. He played rook h6 and king going to f5. Game was again a draw here, and night before he carries right down here, and he resigned before continuing. And Botvinnik was analyzed e4 move here, rook h5, king g4, rook c5, knight b2, king a3, knight d3 move, attacking rook and knight. And after knight d3, ed, d5 is either take both pawns, simply king f3 here. And in case of take, there will be king e3 and then d2. And in case of if Keres would write down knight d4 with ideas to make stalemate, he could finish like this: rook ed, rook f6, king e5, rook f5, king e6, rook f6, and king d5, and there is no stalemate. It was very nice technique. Good night, donkey boy, ladies. Let's see one more game and then I'll probably go to sleep, guys. The last game. Thank you, guys. This, okay, let's see this. So next game is from match tournament for World Championship in 1948 when Botvinnik won this match tournament and became world champion. So it was in Moscow. A second. Botvinnik with white against Ave. So in 1948, Botvinnik was 37 years old and Ava was 10 years older than him. So Ava was 47 years old. But he long time kept very strong practical power. So Botvinnik with white, he plays d4, d5, knight f3, knight f6, c4, c e6, knight c3, c6. So after bishop g5, it can be lead to the Botvinnik system. After dc, e4, h6, we know. So he plays e3 this time, and this game leads to Meran system. But actually, it's more objective to call it by Akiba Rubinstein name, because this idea, what happened in the game, dc, bishop c4 and b5, it's a Rubinstein idea. So he takes dc, bishop c4 and b5, very sharp line. Bishop d3, a6, support pawn and preparing c5, e4, c5, e5 by Botvinnik. He says that he was analyzed this continuation very well in that period. d5 also is one of the main line. So Ave knows that Botvinnik was using e5, so he also prepared this. cd, he takes. Thank you for following, guys. And after that, knight b5. This was Botvinnik won few games like this. AB, EF, and queen b6 he played. Simagin against Botvinnik in 1951. 3 years later of this tournament, he played bishop b7 here. But it doesn't change the evolution of this opening, which quite suspicious for black. Queen b6, protecting both squares. Fg by Botvinnik, bishop g7, and castle. He says that this all he prepared even before the war. He means, of course, Second World War. And he used it against Rogozin in training match in 1939. And Ave is playing how theory was recommended in that period. So, but Ave didn't know that the recommendation of theory was wrong. So Botvinnik knew this line much deeper. one second, I missed that knight is here. What I did, the game was not like that, of course. I completely forget to input knight d7. This is the position of main Meron. d6, bishop c4, b5, bishop d3. This is the position. I'm really tired of this. So this is the position. This is current game. And castle played Botvinnik here. So now dubious was to play castle in this position. Awe played knight c5. Because of the castle, rook e1 and bishop b7 was a very unpleasant move. Bishop f4 in this position, not allow e5. And after bishop d5, white has choice here, or play knight e5, knight e5, bishop e5, and after rook e5, occupy the central squares. For example, after f5, because there is a very strong attack here. He has even sacrificed rook d5, ef, and queen b3, queen c5, and bishop b5 here, and then a4 is coming. After rook fb8, there is a check on g3, and then check here. And so, also it was possible in this position, queen e2 instead of forcing matters, and after b4, rook a c1. Try to control c file here. But Awe in this position, after castle, he played knight c5. Bishop a4 played by Botvinnik. He prepared this line. He's trying to uh, he's trying to take control over central squares. So after bishop b7, he played rook e1, rook d8 by Awe. And Awe understood in this moment that after knight d3, queen d3, and after bishop f3, queen f3, castle, for example, queen g4 leads to advantage for white here. They want to create pressure on the king side here. According to Botvinnik, white has advantage. Also, he could go here for sharp position after bishop d5. But after bishop e5, bishop e5, knight e5, king is very weak. And after rook g8, bishop f1, white has advantage. Say control t2 square, attacking t4, king stuck in the center, so practically very hard for black. That's why after rook e1, he played rook d8 to wait first with useful moves, what white wants to do. So rook c1, logical move by Botvinnik. He wants to play b4 and bishop c7. Rook d5 by Awe. He's trying to control this important knight. And bishop e5. So that was the whole idea of Botvinnik, to play over this e5 square. Black's problem is that they cannot make castle in this position. Duel of bishop g7, king g7, knight e5 move. This queen comes here. Now the threat is to take rook c5, then check, and queen h5 here. In case of instead of castle, if they may play knight d3, 1 second. in this position, after castle knight e5, if black takes knight d3 to eliminate the strong bishop, and queen d3 with idea check here, and king h8. For example, f6 was losing very beautiful way here. Rook c7 check, cannot go because of mate, and in case of queen c7 there is a check. And you go here or here, there will be check here or here, and then we grab this queen beautiful way. Yeah, and in this position, in case of king h8, try to save the king, they would lead to problems after queen f3 here, forcing queen f6 move to play f6, and then queen f4 strong move. And there is aim to play queen h6 attacking here, and also knight g6. So position would be very dangerous for black here. This is like example variations. So, and instead of castle, Ave exchange here. His hope to transfer position to some endgame, but rook e5 here. It's very important for white to eliminate from board this active rook, and then this rook will be very passive. So this rook defending very well central squares. Rook e5 very strong. Rook e5, he played knight e5. Otherwise, in case of castle, probably he would take rook and then take here. So he eliminates and take this strong bishop. Queen d3, and he plays f6 here. And he says that when Ave played this bishop e5, he was hoping for this position. And what happens here, guys? What do you think? How Botvinnik continued here? Give you 2 minutes. GM Levante, yes. Knight g6 it doesn't work because of g8. Yes, Faveler, exactly. Queen g3, look at this move, guys. Very strong move here. This famous game. So queen goes to g7 attacking rook, and also wants to mate here. And suddenly there is no defense. What to do? King f8 not possible because of fork. Queen cannot go because of rook. So queen g7 devastating threat. He took e, queen g7, rook f8, and rook c7. And the problem that queen d6 not possible because of rook b7, and after d3 is idea to promote rook a7. This is a threat, and after queen d8 there is simply queen h7, and this is threat. Queen cannot move, rook cannot move. Easy win. That's why he was forced to give queen, and after queen 7 not only attack here but also here. So bishop d5, queen e5. Normally this rook should be here to somehow support. d3, queen e3 he played, attacking this pawn, and after bishop c4, what is this? Bishop c4, only hope is this pawn, but b3. And after rook f7, he played f3 here. They are not hurried to take this bishop. Rook f7 and queen d2. Yeah, so he did not want to give even hope like this. For example, bc, rook d7 with idea queen d2, bc, and then c3. This was the last hope, but still it was completely winning, of course. For example, after bc, he could probably play king f1 here. And in case of c3, I take d2 and then check here. Then take rook and then king e2, win this pawn and game. But it's unnecessary complications. He simply played f3, rook d7, queen d2, because if he goes queen d3, it's completely hopeless. So he played e5, this is desperation, he takes bc, bc, and play king f2. And the same idea, after c3 he wants to take and go for it. He plays king f7, king e3, king e6, he plays queen b4, attacking this pawn. After d2 we can even take on d2 twice. So he played rook c7, and after king d2 the pawns are completely blocked. Rook c6, a4, and finally a resign. So this pawn will distract rooks, and we take here and win. Oof. Yeah, that was very cool games, especially game against Keras. Previous one was very cool. Okay guys, enough really for tonight. It was a very hard day. And thank you very much to be with me all this day. And let me make some raid, and then I will definitely go to sleep. Let me do it 1 second. Yes, good night to everyone. 1 second guys. Stay here, let's make some raid. Thank you Arsenal, same to you. So who we have here? Chess Bra. I forget who is Chess Bra actually. Completely forget that. Okay, let's go for Chess Bra. So raid. Нет, Иванов, я уже закончил, уже хватит, уже все, мертвый. Chess Bra. I don't remember who is the guy, but I will do it. Did I do it or not? Okay. So guys, good night to everybody, and thank you for attention. See you guys.